Hello. This is just going to be a quick Cthulhu Saves Christmas speedrun. Of note, a few things I'm going to do to make this tutorial as short as it can be, because you don't need a lot here. I'm going to be turboing through the menus. Obviously, that's not allowed in a run, but I'm going to turbo through the menus that you don't need to read, just so that the text goes faster. I'm also going to be fast forwarding all of the movement between bosses because there's nothing to talk about between levels. The only reason I'm even leaving it in is to show you chest locations and the route I'm taking to get through a level. Besides that, all of my talking is going to be right before a boss or during a boss and in the tutorial level. Now, before we get into the game, there's just a quick program that I want to show off. That is Joy to Key. Joy to Key is how I'm going to be binding Z and Enter on my keyboard to my controller. So if you click into the program, you can see when I'm pressing buttons, it'll highlight which option here corresponds to my buttons. So in Zeboyd games, the triggers aren't actually used, so that's what we're going to be rebinding. So you want to press the buttons till you find them, and then you just click on it here, and it'll pop up the second window here. So in the second window here, you just go up to the top here, you type what you want to rebind, and then you go down here and you hit the OK button. And that's how that works. It's just that simple. So after that, you're all set to go once you've bound Z and Enter, and then we can head straight into the game. Now we're going to be doing any percent sane. There's not really 100% in this. And the other difficulties will differ just a little bit. So for this fight here, it's just Tentacle, and that's it. So hit right once, and then mash your confirms. For this second fight here, it's going to be pretty fast as well. So you just left bumper once, or L1, and then you hit Call of Kraken. And that's all there is to it. So there's only one chest in this area. It's going to be up here, and it's going to be a strong wand for Crystal. And it's the only thing we're going to equip here. Now you can choose to equip it right then and there, or you can wait till the end of the level like I do. I do all of my menuing right before a boss, since there's no fights in between usually, as long as you're mashing properly. So I just do my menu here, and we equip the strong wand, and then we run up here to Jack Frost. This fight's going to be pretty simple as long as you equip Crystal. It's going to be Tentacle. It's going to be Call of Kraken. We'll do a Dark Blast on our Hyper Phase, and then we go to Lightning. Now Lightning, this is the only time Lightning's guaranteed to be there because Crystal hasn't learned enough for her Insanity slots to be filled up. For this first town phase, I'd like to note that some of the things we do are for items, some of them are to advance quests, and some of them are just because there's nothing else we need to do. For this town one, we need to advance some quests and get an item. So we're going to do Crystal once. We're going to do Crystal twice. Crystal is going to give us 2 items. She's going to give us the Shield Wand and the Mystic Cloak, but more importantly, we want to advance her quest line to get a Hyperizer later on. The third thing we want to do is the Expedition for a big sword. We're going to be doing a lot of expeditions because they're very fast. And then the last one we're doing is Post Office. We don't actually care about this tunic, we just want to advance this quest. After that, there's nothing else. So this is the Stone Pestle. This is going to be the item for battle. So right here before this fight, we're going to do our menu. So it's going to be Rusty Sword to Big Sword, Strong Wand to Shield Wand, Plain Cloak to Mystic Cloak, and Plain Pestle to Stone Pestle. Now this fight is possible to 2-round it, depending on circumstances. First, we always want a Tentacle. Then we're going to chill this Yule Cat and check for Lightning, which we did have. Here we're going to Biting Wind and also check for Lightning. We have both, so we have the possibility to 2-cycle if we don't get Disarmed. She did not get Disarmed, so we're going to be able to. We're going to call a Kraken here, which is going to kill everything off. Now, I'm going to take this a little bit slow just to talk real quick. If Crystal is not disarmed, her lightning will kill the back Liquor Lad, and Babo's lightning will kill Meat Thief. If available, Crystal should always lightning the back target, and Baba should always lightning the front target. If one of these characters doesn't have lightning, they should just... So in the scenario where Crystal has lightning and gets disarmed, you still want to attack the back one, and then Cthulhu will finish it up. Unless Baba doesn't have her lightning. If Baba doesn't have her lightning, Crystal and Baba should focus the back one, and Cthulhu can take out the front one with a Dark Blast. In this scenario, we do have the lightnings, so I'm going to lightning the back one and they'll kill, and then Baba will kill the front one. So we did get the 2-cycle here, but there are. It is important to note how you would deal with it otherwise. We're going to go into this town menu here. The important things to do are the assembly. We want to do assembly twice. We actually don't really care about the Feather Pestle, but it's nice to get. What we do care about is the manga. The manga is the important part here. Then we're going to do an expedition for the Clean Wand, because it's a nice weapon to have. And then the final one we're going to do is Post Office. Again, not for the item, just to progress the Post Office quest. So we're going to pick up the Blazing Tunic here for Cthulhu. We're going to pick up the extra whip here. So here, we're going to equip our abilities first. We're going to equip Fireball over Slash. We're going to tab over to Baba here. We're going to equip Break over whatever that was, Chicken Feet, I believe. And then over here, we're going to equip Naughty over Protect. Then for items, we're going to equip the Blazing Tonic. We're going to equip Clean Wand. We're going to equip our Feather Pestle. We're going to equip the Extra Whip. And then we're going to go down to items, and this is very important. We're going to equip our manga here. So we're going to head into this fight here. The first thing we want to do is we're going to Fireball. Then Crystal's going to Call of Kraken. We're going to Naughty up on Cthulhu. And then we're going to use Mangi here. This is going to inflict Insanity, and this is going to be important because it's going to increase our Dark damage. So we're going to Dark here, which is going to kill it. We're going to use Eggnog here. Crystal is going to, Belsnickel normally would defend, but because we have the buff, we're going to use the buff up. We're going to, we should have buffed up. That was my bad. And then we're going to break and then Call of Cthulhu Apocalypse there. That would have killed if I had done that correctly. The break will flick the vulnerable, and then that's the important thing. It's also, if you mess up, you can usually recover like I just did, so it's not a big deal. I will take just a quick second. So Belsnickel and Crystal have buff ups, when you get buff ups, you want to know when it is appropriate to use them and when it's appropriate not to. It might take a little bit of like a few runs to figure it out, just what the best way to do it is. It's hard to make notes on it because it's RNG, but you'll know when you're in a kill range and when the buffs will help you kill faster. So for this one here, we get to the hyperizer, which is a very important thing. So we get the hyperizer immediately. Then we're going to go down to the expedition for the sharp sword, which is going to be a nice weapon for Cthulhu. Then we're going to go to the pet store. The cat ears are a nice item, but we mostly just want to progress this quest. And then finally we're going to go to the post office. It's going to give us another wand, but more importantly it's progressing the quest. So this item is the shield breaker. It's also going to be very important. This one here is the death robe. Alright, so on this menu here, we're going to go sharp sword. We want to do the festive wand. And the death robe, which we just picked up, is going to increase her damage a lot. And then we want to go down here and we're going to equip hyper on our first slot. Then we're going to do cat ears on the last one and shield breaker on the third. And we're going to head into this fight here. So the first thing we're going to do is fire. We're going to naughty on Cthulhu. We're going to manga. And then we're going to poison. And do dark here because the damage increased. We don't have buff, so we're going to defend here to reset. Then we're going to apply a vulnerable here. I'm going to apply a hyper here. We're going to fill up those here. We don't have the, we do have the naughty, sorry. Which we're going to use on Crystal. We're going to call a Kraken here, which is going to do most of the damage here. Then we're going to Thunder, and then Cthulhu is going to Strike. And then that'll do this boss fight here. So for this town section here, we want to be doing, again, the Expedition, because Expedition is fast, and because it gives us an okay item. Then we're going to do Caroling twice, because the Caroling gives us some nice items as well. The final one here that we do is we're going to be doing, it doesn't actually matter, I believe I do assembly just because it's fastest, so we don't have crystal to progress, we don't have post office to progress, and we don't have pause to progress, so you can do any of these, whichever one is the fastest. I believe the assembly is the fastest, so that's why we do it. This is the Cursed Wand. This is the Rainbow Coat. So I don't believe that fight actually leveled me up, which is good. I zoned out. Alright, so for this menu here, we want to equip the Cursed Rod. We're going to go to the Shield Pestle and the Fabergé Egg. We're going to do the Raincoat here. And then we are going to add Mistletoe on Crystal. I'm going to add it over this. I'm going to save here, just in case. So your goal for this fight here is you want to get both down to Call a Kraken level. So we're going to do Fire in the manga. We're going to be buffing here. So we're going to try and stack some damage. So we've got Charm and damage up here, which is going to be nice. So we're going to be trying to stack damage on both of them so that they both get relatively low into a Call of Kraken range. We're going to use our buff up here on Cthulhu. Just going to wait here. We're going to take a look at both health bars. This one's pretty, still fairly high, so we're this here. We are going to Naughty up again. And then on this round, we're going to be using our Hyper to deal the AoE damage here. This one's pretty low, so we're going to start hitting this one. We're going to Cthulhu off on this Hyper. And then here we're going to Shield Breaker this one because it's a little lower. And then we're going to defend here. Because of the Hyper, and then we're going to Call up Kraken, which is going to end this fight here. So here on this town area, we want to do Crystal for the Blazing Sword. We want to do Expedition for the Shadow Whip. And we want to do Pet Store for the Cat Tunic. Now the next one here doesn't matter because we don't have any quests we want to progress here. So it goes with whatever is slower. I believe it is Baba on this one, but I could be wrong. I do know that the movies are very slow normally, and so is the mall. But feel free to figure out what is actually the fastest. I believe Baba is the fastest in this scenario. The Insanity Tentacle. So this menu is pretty short. We're going to equip the Insanity Tentacle here. We're going to equip the Blazing Sword, and we're going to equip the Cat. Alright, so we can spam Dark Blast here, so that's what we're going to do. We don't need the Magma because of that, so we're going to drop the Poison. So our goal here is on Cthulhu's second go-around, or so his third Hyper, we want to have a bunch of buffs on him. So we're going to defend until we get a decent amount of buffs going, and then we're going to buff him up. So we have 2 here. Crystal does not have one, but we do have the Eggnog, so we're going to go for it. We're going to try to get it going on this turn here. So we're going to break here. We're going to Naughty up, and then we're going to apply a Hyperizer to Cthulhu, and then we're going to Cthulhu Apocalypse here, and then that'll be enough damage because we had the 3 buffs going. If you don't get 3 buffs, you can wait a little bit longer for Cthulhu's damage to be a little bit higher on the party attack. Besides that, we're going to go through. So we're going to go Expedition because it's fast. We're going to go Post Office for the Eldritch Egg. This is what we've been waiting for the entire time. And then the last ones don't matter, so whatever is fastest, I believe. Assembly is very fast here. And then I normally do Ice Skating because I believe it's also very fast. So on the left here, we've got the Taunting Whip. I didn't actually stop because I'm a dumbass, but that was the Taunting Whip. So this menu here is just going to be the Eldritch Egg and the Taunting Whip. So for this fight here, it's very important that we don't charm until we're ready, because the charm on Krampus will apply vulnerability to himself, which we don't want to do until we're ready. So we're going to, again, we're going to be fishing for our buffs, so we do have one, so we're going to use it here. We don't have 4, we sort of want 4 here. So I'm going to wait another round. Those will last for 3 turns, so we're going to Eggnog off this one. We're going to be cutting it a little bit close here. We don't have it again, so this, most of them should be in place. We're going to Hyper Cthulhu with this turn, and Crystal is going to Shieldbreaker, and we should be pretty much within range. Yeah, there we go. So for this next fight, it is a little bit more difficult. Because we now have the 2. We do have some buffs here, so we're going to stack buffs up, and we're actually going to poison now first. we're going to apply this second buff on Cthulhu so that he can be dealing as much damage as possible. And we're going to be doing a lot of defense cycling for the things that we want. We're going to apply... We're not going to do cat ears again. We can charm Nelthwhip. That's fine, but we don't want to charm Krampus for the same reasons as last time. So we're going to start defense cycling here. We can have poison Krampus. We're going to cat ears here. We're basically going to be using Naughty on cooldown, and then defending with the rest. We want to cycle for our buffs, and if we actually get a cycle where we have our buffs, we're going to leave it open, and then start doing other things, but until we have our buffs, there's not much to do. We are going to need to heal in a second. So we do have a party heal when we need it. We're actually going to use it now, just to keep everybody alive. We'll recycle for our buffs. We don't have it. We're actually going to smack here to deal our damage. Cthulhu is going to call it cracking. Call it cracking here. It's going to deal a decent amount. We're naughty. So his next Dark Flash should be able to take this one out. We'll keep cycling here. We're just going to do a quick dash to get rid of this. We haven't seen a buff in a long time, but we're going to try and eggnog this here since we're running a little low on health. This is not who I thought you were. We're going to eggnog here. And we're going to go for the shadow. So for that fight, you want to be, you can do it a little earlier if you get the buffs, but I just didn't get them. So you want to be cycling for the buffs, and then you want to stack all of the buffs on top, and then you can very quickly take him down when all of the buffs are stacked. That's your end goal for that fight. So for this section here, we don't actually really care about anything. We are going to do Crystal because it's relatively fast. We're going to do Expedition because the Expeditions are usually very fast. We're going to do Pause because the Pause one is very fast, and then I do Ice Skating as well because it's fast. Again, you can mix and max if you find that some are faster than others. Go ahead and do them. None of those actually matter. So this is the first of many, the Apocalypse Cloak. I skipped over that. That should have been... I don't remember what that was, but it's important. Make sure you get it. This is the Tornado Pestle. Metal Whip. The Caduceus Robe, which is very important. And then the Cosmic Dress. Which... yeah. So this is the final menu here. There's a lot we want to do. first thing we're going to do, we're going to go into our menu here. We're going to equip Piercing or Shadow Strike here and Piercing Strike here. It doesn't really matter where you put them as long as you get them both. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to equip Gentle Rain over this one. And we're going to equip Blizzard here. Then we're going to come over here. There's actually nothing more that we care about, right? Yeah, there's nothing that we care about here. Then we are going to go and equip the Altarian Sword here, the Eldritch Tunic here. We're going to switch to the Caduceus Wand, and we're going to switch to the Apocalypse Cloak and the Caduceus Robe. This is the most important one because it allows Gentle Rain to be reused, and that's how we're going to sustain through the next fight. The rest is Tornado, Pestle, Cosmic Dress, and the Eldritch Egg, which we're keeping, Metal, and then everything else is going to stay the same. So I actually mismenued here. This should stay Cat Tunic. And then Crystal actually still wants Chill. We want Blizzard over here. And then we're ready to head into the fight. So right off the bat, we're going to fire. We're going to apply the Manga here. We are going to Blizzard. And we're actually going to Sandstorm here. We're going to go for a Dark here. We're going to Biting Winds here, which take care of the cat. Then we're going to Strike here, which is going to take care of this one. So we get rid of the front two relatively quickly. Then we're able to damage up on Cthulhu. And we're going to start hammering away on the unit on the left here. We're going to drop a poison on Ghost of Christmas Future. And then we're going to start Gentle Raining. So Babo's not going to do much for this fight, and Belsnickel is going to be buff cycling again. Crystal is going to take turns between buff cycling and healing, and then Babo's going to do nothing. So we're relatively healed up, so we can cycle. Belsnickel needs to cycle. We're just going to hammer away at boss whose name I can't remember right now. We're also going to drop the poison on them. I'm going to start cycling. We do have a 5-turn Naughty with the Hyper, so we're going to take it. You're going to get a Hyper next turn where we're going to call it Kraken. Actually, it's a little too early to call it Kraken. So we're actually going to Piercing Strike here. Defend some more. We're going to need to heal actually, so we're going to do that. This fight, basically it depends on getting your buffs in a nice cycle here. We're not getting any on Crystal, we're not seeing it on Belsnickel. We're going to break and call Kraken here. That was actually, we're going to call Kraken. Did not mean to do that. Meant to call Kraken with Crystal. So we kind of misplayed because we broke on the wrong cycle. That's my fault, so I'm just going to call Kraken without that. It ended up being enough, so we're fine. Now we just cycle for our buffs, which I did not actually need to defend that with Cthulhu. Oh well. So we're just going to cycle real quick. So 9,000 there. We're not doing a whole lot. We are really looking for our buffs, so we're going to keep damage cycling. We need to do... So right now, Cthulhu Oxalypse will do about 6,000. Here we go, that's one buff. That hopefully will make it enough, even without... so we're going to do Eggnog. We're actually going to Gentle Rain. The buffs will stay long enough. We don't have enough time to break and hyper. So now we can do this. Just wait out here and do Cthulhu, and that should take it. So for the most part, a lot of the fights are routed fairly well, but it is possible that there is a little bit more that can be looked into to make some of the fights faster. This is just what I've come up with, and in some cases I might be wrong and they might be slow, so keep that in mind, but hopefully that has helped you learn at least this route for Cthulhu. You can expand on it, maybe cut some corners, get it down faster probably, but that's just the very basic tutorial here.
Hope it's helped.